Welcome back to the grand final of the EU Overwatch Open. Was that a blip, or is the comeback real? Reunited currently one map versus the two of Rogue, and we're heading into our fourth map. Let us know what you think, by the way, on social media using the hashtag OWOpen. And of course, absolutely anybody can enter these tournaments as well. If you fancy your team as being in this position this time next week, then feel free to come on and take on the likes of Reunited or Rogue. Of course, there's a small catch. One of these guys is going to qualify, and it's quite likely they won't be here. But what a fantastic finals we've had so far.
It's been good, and it also adds a little bit more mystique to Reunited right now with Ilios, where, again, prior to this weekend, we didn't see Ilios played nearly as much, wasn't quite as much of a favorite of the players. But when we did see it get played, it was usually Reunited on Ilios, and they just added another W to their Ilios column. And for them, it's the beginning of the reverse sweep. They have taken one step. They need to take two more. And for Rogue, I feel like Rogue just needs to settle down a bit and go, okay, we just need to take one of the next two. We're not under that much pressure. But I'll say this much, Joro. If they lose the next map, then they're under a whole lot of pressure.
Yes, that's very true, because momentum plays a big part in Overwatch, and it's really nice. When you see reverse sweeps on a King of the Hill, for example, it's not the fact that it was really close and it's 3-2. If it started off as a 2-0, the team that came through and won is going to feel so great about themselves. So Reunited are really trying to pick themselves up and carry that momentum forward. And at the moment, they're going to have to do it on Route 66, which will be our fourth map. So ZP, based on what you know about how these guys have performed on this map in the recent past, is there any team in particular you're favoring here?
I almost feel like I'd have to favor Reunited a little bit. Now, it's been so far in the past that I'm not sure how much it's relevant, but we talked a little bit the other day how the reason why Envious doesn't play Route 66 anymore is in no small part due to Reunited, which embarrassed them on Route 66 in cross-continental play. So going into there, I'd almost give a slight edge to Reunited, but Rogue did pick this map. This was Rogue's map choice, so I feel like Rogue, at the very least, is comfortable with what is going into this year, and they wouldn't pick it without due reason, so I wouldn't underestimate them, but I'd almost kind of want to favor Reunited a bit here.
Well, hopefully that will help them a lot, because at the end of the day, they're under an enormous amount of pressure. We're on Route 66, ladies and gentlemen. You can see Big Earls there and the train wreck, home, of course, to the Deadlock Rebels. And Reunited are going to be attacking first. A lot's on the line here. They need to win this map to take it to a tie-break situation. They need to complete the reverse sweep, and Rogue just need to win this to completely close out the grand finals.
Well, interesting stuff coming out here from Reunited. They are once more going with a double flanker offense. Kib on the Genji, Volataja on Tracer. We've actually seen Reunited run the Tracer here before, and it's something that Volataja is very comfortable on. Now, obviously, Tracer worked out very well for Reunited on King of the Hill. I'm not as convinced moving forward here. I think it'd still be valuable, but it's still going to be something you work for more, because look at the train here. Volataja has to work his way all the way around to get onto the rooftop, and that's a pain for Tracer. But here comes defense. They seize an opportunity here. They're moving right into the offense while Volataja tries to go from flank. Will get taken out by Tavik and AKM here. Both teams trading off, and this is going to be a fight here for Rogue. They saw an opportunity, and they just crushed it.
I really like how they were so aware as well. They knew Valutaja disappeared from view. AKM knew exactly what to do. Turn around, hunt for Valutaja, pick him off. And the rest of the team were playing 6v5 until Valutaja turned around as well. An excellent pick-off on Fix as well from Tavik. And Rogue at the moment, pretty pleasant starts for them, but Reunited still continuing to press. And actually Genji there, Kib, causing them a lot of trouble.
It was a pleasant start. Right as I got done saying they did really well, McCree stayed a little bit too far out. AKM got punished for it, so it's not the greatest look. Tavik right now, though, right in Morte's face, will take him out. Will not fall to the deadlies in Yada kick. Moving here, the Dragon Blade takes out another. A double kill here for Tavik. He's sitting pretty right now, looking for a little bit more. Gets on to Reaper. This is a 3K for Tavik. He is bringing the pain right now to Reunited, and really saving Rogue a little bit from what was a bit over aggro start.
Yeah, I think that sums it up perfectly. They had a great start to that engagement, and Tavik at the end there going, hang on a second, guys, we just need to make sure we regroup. Let me go ahead and get a couple of kills so we can rest easy. And at the moment, Reunited, they've got 3 ultimates available, so they are looking for the follow-up. Valutaja is still continuing to look for flanks. AKM now starting off the engagement. We've got Lucio and we've also got Deadeye available, and unfortunately, we've got Transcendence popping. No kills on Deadeye as it stands. He's still keeping the high ground, doing a lot of damage from above, but AKM right now not getting that many kills because Reunited have got the first 2 pickups on Tavik and Reinforce.
Oh my goodness, I'm Unfixed with the fall through at the end. The Death Blossom takes out 3. Rogue is not fully taken off this point yet. They are delaying. Of course, you see wins on the Winston just leaping up and down. Primal Rage, of course, gives you a 2-second leap. So you can do those delay shenanigans, but we'll see if it buys enough time for Rogue to get back on the point. Usually it's not a great situation to be here, but Tavik is back into the fray. He is at half HP right now. Unfixed still doing all sorts of damage on the ground, though. So it's still momentum-wise, it's in favor of Reunited, but it's pretty respectable stall coming out here from Rogue.
Yeah, Unfixed actually playing a lot of flanker duty with Reaper. Everyone rushing into the payload, and he's just going, well, okay, I'm just going to shoot everyone that passes by my side. So he's doing a good job. Discord Orb on Genji cannot possibly mean he survives for long, and Tavik will get taken down as well. The payload continuing to move, and now Reunited swarming all over those entrances. They will successfully get to the first point.
It was a good time being bought there by Rogue, though. Right now, I'd say if you had to say a team was winning, you have to give the edge to Rogue. Rogue, of course, now resetting up for the next fight. And looking at that next fight, Cruz will have Sound Bearer up. There will not be a Sound Bearer coming in from Nox. So it's a decent outlook here for Reunited. It's really going to come down to what Tavik can do. If Tavik can go in, not be phased by the Sound Barrier, and get some picks into the back line, it's really going to help Rogue restabilize and be a terrible turnabout for Reunited. Reunited, I feel like they should win this next fight, but it's not a guarantee. If they lose, it's going to be terrible.
Valutaja, of course, in the backs of their minds as well as the fight starts. Nox get a very early pick-off there, and Sound Barrier coming out from Reunited. And Nox was on 88% himself, so he might have been on 1 by now, but we're never going to know, unfortunately. And Reunited at the moment picking off 3 from Rogue. They are continuing to charge through this second point here, and this is absolutely not ideal for the defense.
No, and that was a must-win fight there for Reunited, because let me just tell you is that if they had lost that fight after using those ults, and it went the other way, Rogue would have been able to delay in the Streets phase for at least another minute, and it would have been a very do-or-die situation for Reunited. So they won where they needed to win. They're going to keep the cart moving forward now, and we'll see where things go. Of course, the defense will have a chance to bring this back. Nox's Sound Bearer on his own. They won't have a Dragon Blade, but Reinforce not to be underestimated coming in from Elevation on Reinhardt. And here we go. He's on the way. Transcendence is out. Dragon Blade comes out from Kib. He's going to be met by AKM right away. Both teams getting into Vik with first pick on the Cruise. Reinforce, will you drop the hammer? The hammer is dropped. That is 3 people hitting the deck. Reinforce swings the hammer, brings the pain. Valutaja, though, still staying in here, but most of his friends are gone, and he is going to get taken out in the end by Tavik.
Yeah, only Kib and Cruz alive now on the side of Reunited. They are doing their best to keep the hopes here alive. I mean, barring some sort of miracle play from Kib, and unfortunately he's not going to come out here as he gets taken out. That was always going to be very difficult. Big, important team fight there, and Reunited now have just over 1 minute. Admittedly, not to push the payload very far, but they do have to retake control here.
Right, and they won't have Sound Bearer the clutch on here. Rogue, in fact, still has their Sound Bearer, so they're going to be able to use it here in just a moment. Tavik has Dragon Blade. He's going to the back. Morte caught out. A double kill for Tavik. Forces out the Death Blossom from Unfixed, and that's not the greatest of trades for Unfixed. Now he doesn't have to use against the rest of the team as a whole. Yeah. Tavik had already gotten all sorts of value from his ult. And now for Reunited, this is rough. They have one more team fight left for them. If they get stopped here before the end, it's very likely they'll lose the map. Rogue has to like the situation. They did blow Sound Bearer, though, so fight will be a little bit more even in terms of ults.
AKM trying to stall for time here, just guaranteeing basically that it's going to overtime with the Deadeye to start things off. We really want Mort with Transcendence. He's sitting there on 84%. Valutaja getting taken out very early on in this engagement, and Mort gets to 100% and he gets picked off. There will be no Transcendence for this team fight for Reunited. They cannot wait any longer. 20 seconds left and only the Earth Shatter available. It is now or never. They need to get onto the payload. They need to hold it. And right now they're getting there, but it's going to be such a tough fight to hold.
They lost their Winston and Genji right away in the back, and that's just them trying to keep things moving, keep things in the overtime, which will be on the way soon. Winghaven drops the Earthshatter, has no support though. That was sort of a panic Earthshatter, but what can you do? Time is almost out. Here comes Dragon Blade from Tavik. Rogue is going to be able to clean the rest of this up. I do not believe there's a savior on the way here for Reunited, and this is a big hold from Rogue. And now this is really huge for them because the odds of them not beating this on their own attack are so slim. So for Reunited, their only way of really staying alive here in this matchup is probably a hold on first.
That was also really important for Rogue as well. We spoke a lot about momentum in Overwatch and how that confidence really gives your team that extra boost, almost like the 7th player on the team. And what Rogue have done just now, they have put their foot down, they have charged through the front door, and they have said, we're going to break that here.
Now, again, this is very old news to the point where I'm not sure it's as relevant anymore, but one of the few times that we have seen Reunited on here, they did hold Envy at first, so it's not that unrealistic to happen. It's not super likely, especially with the way that Rogue is playing. Sure. But right now, Reunited has to play in the realm of not super likely if they want to win this game. I'm not saying it's impossible if they get first point, but I think their odds of winning just plummet very far down if they lose point A.
And again, the fairy tale story, it's building, ZP, it's building, but I fear we might not get capitalization on that. We will wait and see. Reunited now, of course, going to be defending, and we have got Winghaven on Reinhardt. Unfixed will be playing on the Ape for this time around. Kib once again on Kenji, and no surprises for the rest of the team as well. Cruz playing Lucio, Valutaja on his beloved McCree, and Mort once again will be zenning it up.
So I'm not expecting anything too crazy here from the offense of Rogue. It's going to be reinforced on the Winston, Wins on the Zarya, Unco on Zenyatta, AKM on McCree, Nox on the Lucio, Tavik on the Genji, and for the here, all they're just going to be looking for, you're going to see Tavik coming around the back, looking to disrupt the top a little bit, get everyone off of Big Earls. And if they're able to do that, that's going to be very good for them, capping this first point. So Reunited, they're going to have to play almost flawlessly here. Zone out Tavik, stop him from being a threat, and just lay in on people trying to come in through the ground floor.
Now, Reunited will have a couple of options of zoning out Tavik here. Is this going to be Kib duty? Is this Unfixed going in to try and disrupt? If you're Reunited here, who is being tasked with that job?
Well, right now, certainly, of course, you want Voltage to be a big part of that, and you can even throw Unfixed on it in a lot of cases. The matchup between Winston and Genji, not that bad. But yeah, you can't let Tavik do all sorts of damage to the backline, because if that happens, he will force you off.
Right.
The odds of holding become very grim indeed. So 3 minutes, 44 seconds left. The payload is moving forward, and this fight will be underway in just a moment.
Okay, well, let's see. Just a couple of pokes and prods at the moment. Nothing spectacular just yet. Reunited looking for opportunities to move in. And crucially, Tavik is actually with the main gang. It's AKM who's trying to sneak around the corner here. But absolutely no 2 or 3 heroes around the side shenanigans to start things off. And playing things very cool and calm. Reunited still holding strong on top of Big Earls. Are they going to collapse soon? They're looking like it. They're finding the opportunity.
I think for them a collapse is scary because if it goes badly, they arguably just lose. But they're biding their time. They did almost poke down Tavik. They are getting forced back a little bit. Both teams really being careful about this engagement. You look at the poke, AKM right now almost going down. Does have to get the health pack. And Reunited's been playing this really well so far, but they have not gotten any of the picks they need. So it's very tenuous back and forth right now between the two teams.
Even Rogue is being really careful. Reunited, when they collapse, like you say, they need those picks. And Rogue's going, actually, guys, let's just hang back and wait for a better opportunity. They're now trading. Reinforce going down as well as Kib. Major damage dealer there for Reunited. And Tavik is going in looking for more. He does not want to stop there. He sees Mort. He gets Mort. And he's coming back for more now. I think this is going to be triggering a little bit more of an attack. Unco, though, has gone down in the meantime.
That is real unfortunate for Reunited. Voltage is doing so much work. Tavik, though, does get to the back line, gets some vital kills, pulls out the Dragon Blade now, has one, gets two. A double kill here for Tavik, starting to open up this can of Reunited defense. And this is not great for Reunited. Maybe they can delay here for a little bit more, but the odds that Rogue caps this next point just went way up.
Yeah, and I mean, you know, Primal Rage does allow you to delay for a very long time, but to try and get the entirety of the rest of the team together is very difficult. Nox now coming out with Sound Barrier. Rogue are looking to try and put this beyond doubt. Kib, though, coming in. He has other ideas. He's moving in with the Dragon Blade. Can he get another kill? He gets wins as well. Excellent stuff from him, and Reunited are showing a very feisty fight back.
Well, that was a great use of defensive ultimates there from the side of Reunited. Of course, Kib was leading the way with Dragon Blade, but Winghaven landed an excellent Earth Shatter that opened things up there. And now, this is a little bit rough. Now, you look at the ult situation coming out. Cruz does have Sound Barrier. Not a whole lot else here for Reunited, but Sound Barrier is huge, even as you look at everything that Rogue is coming in for. And Rogue does not have a lot of time. So if they expend ult here, John, and get nothing, that could be it. The full point hold dream could be real for Reunited. A lot here is on Wins. If Wins can land a big Graviton, that should be it. That will be the difference maker. Graviton does come out, gets 2 into it. Winston coming in from the flank, laying in the left click damage. We'll see if it pays off here in just a moment. Transcendence is out. And AKM holding onto Deadeye does not connect. Tavik and Reinforce, though, off of that setup, they do get 3 kills in the back. This is exactly what Rogue was looking for. Wins was able to set a lot of that up. And as a result, Rogue will be getting to this next point. They add more time. And now this is the danger zone for Reunited because, again, remember, if they're not able to hold this duo, that is it. They are out.
Exactly. The stakes incredibly high. Reunited trying to hold Rogue on the first point, not able to do so now. And the distance marker you see on the top of your screens is going to make or break this series and this grand finals for Reunited. There are no more second chances. They have to hold here or they are going away in second place.
All right, so ultimate situation coming into the next fight. Pretty even between both teams. Reinforce will the Primal Rage and cause some havoc here in the back. Right now, Rogue very content to just push on the payload. Reinforce, again, being a flanking Winston here, goes to the back line, has found Morte, getting right on Morte, wants to kill that Zen, will take him out, the aid of Tavik. Getting a charge back though by Winghaven, so has no time to activate Primal Rage, but look at Tavik. He's a surgeon right now doing work on the double kill. Unco marking targets. Tavik knocking them down. AKM with the fall through. This is almost a full team wipe now for Rogue, and they're getting awfully close to that yellow square, John.
Exactly. I'm not certain they can come back from this. Look at that. It's going up so quickly. Reunited will be able to collapse at the very last second on this, but I think that's all they can hope for. And if they manage to stall, at least it won't be for 5 minutes or anything like that, but this is against the Rogue side that has impressed so much today. Here we go. Valutaja coming in, and the trickle, unfortunately, looks to be real to start things off. He goes down like a sack of potatoes. Can Winghaven come back? Well, not yet.
Well, this right now is do or die for Reunited. Winghaven trying to keep this team in this. If they fall here, that is it. They'll be eliminated. Rogue right now on match point. They need a little bit more. They get it. Tavik finishes it out. And ladies and gentlemen, Rogue has won your grand finals here today. They have qualified. And for Reunited, the second place curse continues.
They will live to fight another day as Tavik now getting play of the game. You mentioned this, Andrew. Frankly, Unko has been setting them up all day long, and Tavik has gone, thank you very much for the bowling pin, sir. I'm going to go ahead and knock these down. He had a whale of a time there. And Rogue now by a score line of 3-1 will join Misfits in the EU playoffs. They have automatically qualified. Reunited, to be fair, in second place, get a pretty decent handful of points, and they already had a good handful themselves, but they really want one of those qualifying spots. They don't want to be in a position where they're qualifying through on points. They feel they're one of the best.
Alrighty, well, we are joined here at the desk again by the man, the myth, the legend himself, Machine. Machine, what did you think of that series?
I mean, it was... And as anticipated, I would assume if you looked at it on paper at the end of it, but I think you would be a fool to feel like that was a complete one-sided affair. I was actually pleasantly surprised that at times by individuals of Reunited, like I felt like, especially, you know, over towards that over towards the capture points, we actually got to see a little bit more strength from these boys. And I, as someone who's casted them from their, you know, in their Battlefield days, I was always, kind of a little bit biased, I think, towards some of the individuals there, just because it's nice to see the likes of Mort finding success. I remember a lot of the individuals there never really got the recognition they deserved within that space. So it was good to see what Reunited were capable of. Taking that map is definitely a little bit of redemption for them. But, I mean, Rogue, we were expecting to see them at some point throughout the 4 weeks picking up that guaranteed spot, right? They've done it in the second week. For you, though, gents, I'd like to start a little bit of an opener forum for discussion surrounding Reunited and where perhaps their footfalls are. You described them already as a team that have very high highs and low lows. Now, can we, I know it's not an easy discussion to have, but can we pinpoint as to why that could be? Is it down to reliance on individuals, perhaps?
It could be reliance on individuals. It's always a hard thing to say for Reunited. I think in the past I probably would have blamed Too Easy a little bit more because Too Easy was a player that had all sorts of variability where we've even seen it in recent games as of late where we see Too Easy just go off for Reunited and then games like yesterday where he had a rough go. But Too Easy, of course, is no longer on that roster, so you can't really scapegoat him there. And it's really hard to say. I mean, I always hate going into the fallback excuse of, well, they're just folding under pressure. But when you have this history where Reunited has been able to take games off of the very top teams and they make close finals, but then they just never seem to put it all together enough to win those finals, I do wonder if they're a little bit more prone to pressure than other teams because you narrow down the list of subjects. It's not overall performance. It's not heights. It's just when it matters, they don't always seem to come through.
Okay, so I mean, I just want to point out that they are no stranger to high pressure scenarios. They're no stranger to finals, to that. So it's not like it's necessarily new to them.
No.
Perhaps. Okay, so that's an interesting kind of brainstorm to have. Do you have anything to add, John?
Well, maybe it's, like you say, these guys are pro players and they've been in the gaming world for quite some time. So the only pressure that might be new to them, I can speculate, is the pressure to be able to win that first event as an Overwatch team, perhaps. Maybe they're looking to be able to cement their place and reaffirm that they are actually at the tip-top end. And nobody here is denying that Reunited are amongst the absolute tip of the spear in Europe. But like you say, ZP, they haven't quite managed to make it count when it really mattered.
And a team that has, of course, made it count is Rogue. Picking up that win does secure them that qualifier space. And we just want to, let's kind of outline some of the takeaways we've got from seeing those guys perform yet again. I personally can't help but look towards AKM, especially over towards some of those kind of close quarters battles. His McCree, he was hitting absolutely everything. Whenever he cut to him, he was just, you could see how influential he was being in such a short space of time. And, this brotherly synergy that I don't think has been mentioned before, him and, is it Wills? Wins, excuse me. Their names are so small, I hate it. Absolutely hate it. But yeah, those two, there's some brotherly synergy there. We were sitting there like, Josh was 100% sure, then he was 50% sure they were brothers, but they are.
Yes.
The French brotherly duo.
Yeah, and they played really well. I thought AKM actually has been bringing things forward as time has gone on, where he's had sketchy days on hitscan, but I really felt like he came out pretty strong here today, and I feel like his overall performance has been inching up. Conversely, Voltagia, I feel like there's times where he's been just completely untouchable. He had some very good moments here today, including 1 point on Route 66, where I feel like he had 4 kills just putting it on his back, but I feel like it was more of an iffy day for Voltagia, where it wasn't quite dominance all the way through.
You ultimately can't rely on those heroes to be able to pull out those clutch plays every single time. We can cast our minds back to last week and Cypher, for example, who somehow managed to do it 3 or 4 games in a row. But it's really dangerous when you start relying on that. And I think the combinations are really what made this game. So you were talking about the brothers there. I actually want to highlight Unko, because I thought he did a great supporting act for Tavik. And if 2 players I had to pick from that final just consistently worked really well together, I think we have to give them a special mention.
Well, that's the Zenji, right? You're talking about those two, and you're a big fan of that combination. You're right. I mean, Tavik is always going to be someone that it's hard not to mention when you do see. I mean, he's picking up the play of the games. He's constantly irritating the back lines when he's picking up Genji, and all round a solid performance from every single individual of Rogue. I don't think there was a particular weak link that we would outline in their success.
2500 MS, I suppose, on Reinforce. He seemed to be able to shrug that off just fine.
That's what I'm saying.
Reinforce, I mean, he trippered through it, and he has had internet connection issues from time to time. I'm not sure what it is with these tank players and internet connections. I mean, first it's Reinforce, or actually first it was numlocked, then it was Reinforce.
You don't need low ping just to hold down right click.
Apparently not. I mean, you say that jokingly, but numlocked has said that from time to time as to why he did sort of go to take play, because his internet situation is not great. But we touched a little bit on Tavik. I actually try and give a little bit more praise to other Rogue members, just to note that it is a team, but Tavik is the superstar of Rogue. He's very well known. Of course, one of the highest ranked solo players in the game. Streams a lot. Has a lot of fans from that. But oftentimes he is the backbone of the Rogue team. And certainly you look at the play on just Route 66 a moment ago. Definitely big plays on Genji.
And all round a fantastic grand final to behold. This is not over yet. The Overwatch Open continues with North America in just a little while. We are going to take a quick break, kind of put our feet up and reflect upon the European side of things as another team has been added to the pile. Rogue join Misfits as the 2 teams that are locked in for the playoffs from the European side of things. For North America, who will join Envious? We're going to be finding all of those answers with 2 semi-finals and a grand final after a quick break. So do not go anywhere. We hope to see you back for North American Overwatch in just a tickety boo.